everyone. This is your host, Alex Balgood, and this is Leap of Health. Today we have Seema. She is the CEO of Sunlight Nutrition, founder of Nine Times Design Inc., an architecture and art corporation, founder of Holistic Justice League too. And thank you so much to be here with us today. We're going to be talking about energy depletion.
Hi, Alex. Thank you so much for bringing me to your show. I'm definitely excited to talk about this subject that it's been so dear to my heart for so many years. I mean, we are energetic beings having a physical experience, and my mission is to share this knowledge with everyone. So thanks for the
Yes.
opportunity to face.
Yes, thank you, thank you. I'm super excited. We're gonna be diving into a lot of really cool topics here. But before that, if you can share a little bit about your story and how you came about with Sunlight Nutrition.
Yes, it's actually an interesting story because I am an immigrant and I came to the United States for the American dream. And I had lots of ambitions to become the first person in my family to graduate from college. So I did everything that I was told to do. And I graduated as an architect. I love designing spaces for people to come together and really enjoy life. However, nobody really told me that mystery of working for a paycheck, right? And the long hours. I graduated and I had no idea that I was going to be working extreme amount of hours, and I was going to barely see my family, and that's very important to me, connecting with my family. And I even found myself one time driving in my car very sad. I was crying because I didn't want to go to work, and it was sunny outside. It was like a total beach day, and it was so full of light. It was so full of sunshine, and I was going to work, and that alone depressed me because I was like, I don't want to go sit in this desk and work for 10 hours, maybe 12 hours if I, don't finish on time. And and I was like, oh my gosh, like something's wrong with me. Something must be broken with me because I don't want to go to work. What is going on? And I sat in my car, I cried, and then I said, you know what? I don't have to go inside. I can stay out here in the sunlight. I can stay outside and really enjoy this life force. So I turned around and I drove back to my house, and I asked myself if there was a way for me to live in the sunlight, to live free, to live in the abundance that there is out there, and be the architect of my own life, because I was going inside to design houses for millionaires. And I actually worked with multi-use residential buildings. So I never took a project that was under 250,000 square feet. My experiences with massive building, hotels, skyscrapers, multi-use buildings with at least 50 units. And I give it a chance, and I went back home and I said, I'm gonna start something that has to do with sunlight, that has to do with the life force that fills our cells, that fills our life. Because without sun, there will be no flowers, there will be no trees, there will be no plants, there will be nothing, right? The ecosystem will fall apart. And I had an awakening because in one of those business meetings as an architect, I was sitting on a table with the engineers, with the land use attorneys, city planners, and everybody was just eating junk food. And we're talking about the building block materials for these buildings. Is it going to have type 3, type 4? Is it going to be a concrete building, a steel building? While we're talking building block materials of a building, we're eating junk building block materials for our body. And this is when I said, I need to shift what my design scheme is. I don't want to be building buildings. I want to be building people. And the best way to build people is to bring that sunlight to their bodies. And there's different ways to bring sunlight. We can go outside, we can sun gaze, we can be outdoors, playing on the grass, earthing, getting the electrons. And we can also eat it through food. Ultimately, that's what we need. We need the sunlight from our food into our body, whether it comes from plants or meat that eats the plants. The ultimate goal is to bring that sunlight into our cells. So I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now with my life? And I just had a download, and I said, sunlight nutrition. I'm going to teach people how to nourish themselves with sunlight. And the fastest and easiest way to do that is through cooking classes. So I started this series of raw vegan cooking classes, teaching, because I didn't have space, I didn't have a stove, right? So I had to be vegan and had to be raw because I didn't have a big enough kitchen for everyone to cook. So I went to Eventbrite, I created the event, and all of a sudden I'm sitting at this beautiful dining table with like 60 people learning how to cook raw vegan. And this is how Sunlight Nutrition was born. And ever since then, it's been very successful. Fast forward 3 years, yes. It's a little story of that Sunlight Nutrition.
No, that's amazing. I mean, I think we all can, resonate with that. Like we're at some point we'll have a job that it doesn't fulfill us. It makes us low on our energy every time we get there. So yeah, I mean, finding that one thing that makes you light and happy, it's awesome. And that was awesome that you find it with that Sunlight Nutrition. What do you do after that? Do you became a yoga teacher, or do you went on teaching people how to cook?
Yeah, so that's a really great question, because I realized that my energy was actually getting depleted by going to work every single day. At first, it was like I have a new toy, right? It's so fun, and I just graduated. I'm an architect. 1 year in, it's still really fun. 2 years in, fun. 3 years in, 5 years in. Now it's like, oh, I have to go to work now, right? It's the same thing over and over. 6 years go in, 7 years go in, and now it's like, now is this programming of doing the same thing over and over. And I had just transformed. I realized that there was other passions that I had that I wanted to explore. And I had this awakening that my energy was getting depleted because I was living a mundane life without a bigger purpose. I was just doing the same thing over and over without really changing people's life, without changing the planet, right? Leaving the planet for future generations to come in a better place. And these cooking classes actually introduced me to an incredible opportunity that opened the doors for me to have more impact, because I wanted to cook for more people, but I didn't have a bigger space. And I could only fit 50 to 60 people in my cooking classes, but I wanted to help my friends in the middle of Oklahoma. I wanted to help my friends in the middle of Louisiana when they don't even have organic foods. And I'm a believer that when we set an intention, we attract what we want. And this opportunity came to me. A friend introduced me to something amazing that allowed me to bring organic foods to all these people that were in need, so they can also start having that shot of nutrition, that shot of sunlight into their cells. And I believe that by just going to work every day as I was doing, my energy I was losing my power, right? We are losing our happiness. We're losing the brightness in our eyes when we are just lost, when we don't serve to anyone. And our power comes with our choice. And that moment that I turn around from going to my architectural studio to going back home to transform my life, that's when I really charge my batteries again. It's like I charge my will, I charge my personal power, because I stood up for my heart desires. And obviously, when all of us try to do something great, the self-sabotage comes into place, right? The ego tries to keep us safe, and it's like, come on, like, you can be an architect and still make really good money, and you still gonna have the life that you want. But and it's like that feeling safe zone, and then the unknown journey, which has that big vision, right? Because that dark cave that we seem to go in has that treasure that we're looking for, but it's just so scary to go that way. And by taking that leap of faith, I gain my power. I gain my free will. It's like I supercharged my batteries because I said yes to something that I truly wanted to do, beyond all my doubts and my limits and beliefs. And I don't know how to do this. Like, how am I going to pay my bills? Who's going to help me feed myself, right? Because I've lived here by myself. And to totally trust that my heart desires what mattered to me, and that God was going to support me, and that God was going to provide for everything that I needed if I focus on what I truly wanted. And this is when uh, after Sunlight Nutrition started, my
Mhm.
partner introduced me to an opportunity that I was skeptic at first, and I was like, I don't know how to do anything in that business model.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, well, you can't lose what you never had, and if the worst thing that could happen is that I win, right? And that I do good. So I took a leap of faith in that I said to myself, I can't do this alone. To raise consciousness about getting our power back, I have to do it with a team. I have to do it with a community. We all
Mhm.
have the powers to transform our lives. We have the power to self heal. We have the power to change our thoughts so we can change the vibration of ourselves. We have all those powers. They just have been taken away from us by artificial ingredients, pesticides in our food, plastic, food fillers, television, right? All of these things that have pretty much brainwashed us, took our powers away. And we live in a life where we're depleted, where we're just doing the same things over and over and over, expecting different results, going crazy, and having anxiety, having depression, right? Because
Mhm.
really our gut has also been taken away from us. And having this gut brain connection, this gut heart brain connection,
Mhm.
is also so essential for us to be the perfect manifestors and God creators. And I founded the Holistic Justice League because one of my friends said, "Oh, we're like this holistic league or the Justice League," and I'm like, "Yeah, but we're the Holistic Justice League." And ever since this organization, we're all visionaries. We're people that share the same vision of transforming the world by looking at the foods that we eat, the thoughts that we have, and we believe that it starts with cleaning up the food system. And we're mindful, we're loving, we are, moms, lawyers, business owners, attorneys, nurses, naturopathic doctors, literally like from all backgrounds, but we all share that same exact vision that we're here to support a passive shift in our world through organic nutrition, sustainable agriculture, a holistic economy where the money gets being brought back to the people and doesn't go to corporate America and those big corporations that um, care about money. They don't really care about people's health, but just making more money and making more money without any really big impact in people. And this vision of eating cleaner, eating greener, leaner, and allow people to transform their lives into a new phase, into a new reality, as I like to see it. So we came together and we started to look at products that we use, companies that we're attracted, thoughts that we
Mhm.
have. And this is when I also became a Kundalini yoga teacher, because I realized that we do have a physical body and a non-physical body. The thing is that we only see the physical body, so we always treat the physical body, but most of our diseases comes with a lack of charge in our cells. There's a lack of energy in our cells, and that lack of energy comes from first not having our choice, right? Not doing what our heart desires, that discharges our cells. Second, being around negative vibrations. Third, being consuming low vibration foods that don't have nutrition, that our senses can actually smell it. Like, oh, I smell this burger. It tastes really good, but our organs are like, what the hell is this? This is not even considered food. Like your intestines, your liver, right, your kidneys are like under such a heavy amount of stress trying to break down plastic, trying to break down artificial ingredients, trying to break. Imagine how much stress or poor organs are going through, and then that stress gets reflected in like aging, stress, fights with everyone, being depressed,
Mhm.
all of these symptoms. It's just a result of heavy stress in our body, and we don't even know why we're feeling this way, and it's just because our food. So with the Holistic Justice League, um, we share solutions that happen for us with the rest of the
Mhm.
world, and we believe that change starts with us. And if we want to change the world, we have to become that change first. as Gandhi says, experiencing heaven on earth. And we work in ourselves as we share that gift with others. And we believe that, we are the evolved ones, and we carry that responsibility to awaken the collective consciousness by sharing what has worked for us. So that does that answer? I went in tight,
Yeah.
but hope that answered your question.
No, that's great. I mean, you touch a lot of like great points that actually deplete of energy, and we don't really think about it much. Like you said, work can lead us to stress. It's depleting our energy. The bad quality food that we put on our system, it's really becoming these chronic diseases at the long run. And even just going outside, a lot of the people now, I mean, you ask them like, when was the last time you went to the park? A lot of them might tell you, I don't even remember when, or it was like last month or something. When we're actually beings that need to be in touch with nature, go for a walk, go to the beach, whatever it is, like that's near to you. But yeah, we have become these people that are just attached to our technology and to the easy way. And I feel like you, that we do definitely need to go back to our basics. Eating whole foods, know where your food is coming from. I think that's one of the really big topics out there that a lot of people are just maybe not interested on, or they're too busy to actually realize what they're eating. And I mean, you and me, we know about organic food. We know what non-organic food does to our body. And I mean, this is really what motivates me to do this podcast, because there's all sort of information that at some point, myself, my mom, she's a nurse, and she has always been into like health, living, and do exercise and be out there. And at some point, it was like, it is natural to me, and it's something that I feel like everybody knows. But then when you go out there in the world and you ask them like, oh yeah, this is organic, and they ask you, oh, what's the difference? That's when it really opened my eyes to like, oh, wait a minute, not everyone knows about, our basics in life, drinking enough water, sleeping well, eating organic. I know we all need a job in our lives, we have to pay bills and everything. But even, having a different set mind when you go to work, as opposed to like, oh my God, I'm going to go to my 8 to 5 job for like the whole year or whatever. Even changing the mindset of like, okay, I'm doing this for now because I want to get better doing something so and so, or creating something, I don't know, whatever it is that makes your amazing heart going. So yeah, I mean, it's all great information. And I wanted to touch a little bit on the food. I know a lot of people might be a little skeptical about like, well, food is food and it's all the same. And I don't agree on organic or conventional or non-GMO. What's your intake about that, and how it relates to energy when it comes to people?
Yeah, I love that question, because 100 years ago, all foods were organic.
Right.
Okay. All food was real food. And fast forward 100 years, our food, it's filled with synthetics. It's full with artificial ingredients. Artificial ingredients is hundreds of chemicals mixed together to create a flavor. And that's not what our body needs to thrive, to feel wellness, right? It needs real food. Again, you mentioned that connection back to nature and going back to our roots, going back to 100 years ago and eating real food that wasn't polluted with pesticides, that the soils have microbes that help the plant, and the plant attracting the sunlight. And nowadays our soils are depleted, right? Because GMOs genetically modified crops kill the soils, and there's no microbes to eat the soil. And if there's more microbes in the soil, it's a dead soil.
Mhm.
And what I found that is extremely important is teaching people of the benefits of eating organic and what not eating organic does to our body. I mean,
Mhm.
100% of us had glyphosate in our gut. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup, is a toxic herbicide that they sprayed on plants.
Mhm.
Okay. And that ends up in our gut. All that glyphosate ends up inside of our gut. And what it does is that it prevents our gut from vitamin and mineral absorption. So all those little villi, all those little hairs in our gut that are responsible for absorbing the vitamin A, vitamin C from the foods that you're eating and bringing it down to the intestines and the blood, they actually can't do that because they're all glued together with herbicides, with glyphosate. And what happens is that these little hairs are doing their best to absorb nutrition from foods, and they're trying to like open up. And what happens when that happens is that the gut creates holes, right? It's called leaky gut. And now there's food leaking into your blood. There's fecal matter leaking into your blood. There's all kinds of things leaking into your blood. And now people have insane amounts of inflammation. Don't know why, right? And once we start to remove that glyphosate from our gut, so then our body can actually absorb foods and vitamins and minerals, our body starts to nourish itself and the hormones go back into place. We are now in more synchrony with the planet, with the universe. I also wanted to touch into um, when we're talking about depletion,
Mhm.
our shoes also deplete our energy because it prevents the connection of our skin touching the earth. We are walking with synthetic shoes, plastic shoes on concretes, on wood, inside of our apartment, out into the street, which is a concrete paved street, back into another building that has more concrete. And then we go back into our bed that's elevated from the ground in our plastic shoes. And we go days, some people go months and years without putting their feet into the ground. And grounding and earthing is so important because when our skin touches the soil, or electrons balance, and we can discharge and we can charge ourselves immediately. I mean, how many times have you gone to the beach or you taking off your shoes and you put them on the fresh grass and you immediately feel a sense of wellness, of freshness, of like, I just got so much energy, and your body from being depleted now is supercharged with the earth. Um, so connecting ourselves back to the earth in so many different levels, start walking barefoot, start receiving and collecting sun. We are solar panels. Eating organic food without all the herbicide and glyphosate that destroys our microbiome, that is destroys our health, and just putting our body into a cycle of nourishing, repairing, and detoxifying is super important. That the body does these things constantly, not only from our food but also from our thoughts. Our thoughts create so many chemicals and poison in our body. I mean, our negative thoughts create our cells to lose its vibration. So every time that we're angry, upset, we literally lose our power and we discharge ourselves. And then we feel depleted. Okay. Like I always feel depleted after a fight. It feels like I just like ran a marathon, right? Because the body actually discharges. And at times it's important to discharge. I study a lot the chakras and the energy centers, and how the health of all these energy centers in our body creates the health of our aura, which leads to the health of our physical body. And for instance, now more than ever, people are looking for equality, right? Equality for everything. We all deserve the same amount of abundance. We all deserve eating organic foods. We all deserve the same things. And people are now unleashing their voice. And when we let go of our voice and we actually start speaking our truth, um, we are discharging our throat. And a lot of us are going to talk more than we should, or we're going to yell, or we're going to start saying things that maybe we shouldn't say, but we actually should say them because it allows the discharge. It allows the energy to come out, so then we can balance. And how many of us have felt good after we say something that we didn't really want to say? You're like, thank God I said it, right? And it's just like that discharge that actually allow for a balance. So there's different ways that we can discharge to actually feel ourselves with more energy. Does that
Yeah,
answer your question?
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And it's a great point that you mentioned. Like, I don't think like a lot of people put too much thought on like really what our thoughts are and what they become and what how they manifested into our body. Sometimes we stuck in this negative loop of whatever happened the day or 10 years ago. So in this loop negative energy, it's like bringing you down every time, every time, every time. And so on top of that, stress and not eating well and not drinking water and not
Mhm.
sleeping, I mean, that's when everything goes kind of like the wrong way. And but yeah, I mean, we have the power to change that around so easily, being
Yes.
a little bit more conscious of what we're doing, what we're eating, how we spend all of our precious time. Are we like on our phone? Are we on the computer the whole time? I know our lives now, it's super important. I mean, I work in front of a computer long hours,
Mhm.
but also taking in consideration that, okay, I'm going to be working in front of my computer, but I can also, after that, go for a walk and go to the park and maybe walk barefoot or, eat an amazing salad and drink more water and to find a balance. I think it's all about balance. And just funny story. I had this friend that, you know, he's always like, yeah, you're so healthy, this and that. And I'm like, well, I work at this. It's not like I take a break any day. And even when I do, I try to balance it out because, I don't want to be eating junk food for the whole day because I know at the end of the day, I'm going to feel not great. So I think it comes down to yes, there's no judgment on if you're eating junk food or whatever it is that you're eating, but do be mindful of what's going to make you feel good at the end of the day when you go to bed and you're like, yes, today was a good day. I ate this, but I balanced it with this. And I
Yeah.
drank, I had some ice cream, but I drank a lot of water. And just find that balance in life, I think is like so important for us. And just take that break and sit for a minute, take deep breaths, even breathing. Sometimes we just so forget
Mhm.
about taking a deep breath. We live with this shallow breathing every day, and that doesn't really serve us much. But
Yeah,
yeah, this is
I
so amazing. Good.
I wanted to add something into that
Yeah.
because you said like feeling bad and oh like oh I just ate so much, right? A whole day of eating shitty food and junk food. I
Right.
think that in order for us to charge our body and to be fully energetically present, it's
Mhm.
super important that we also practice forgiveness because
Mm.
forgiveness means to give forward. Okay, not to be stuck in the feeling bad. Oh, I did something that I shouldn't have done, or like I'm still holding a grudge about someone that hurt my feelings many years ago. Or sometimes I have to practice forgiveness because I leave my dog at home for 5 hours and I can't take him on a walk because I'm too busy working, right? And I feel bad and I feel so bad, like a responsible mother, and I like literally forgiving myself for things that I have done that I don't feel good about and giving forward my energy because a lot of us are living depleted energetically because we are still stuck in the past, holding on to memories, holding on to thoughts. I'm still practicing it myself. I still get triggered by things that happen in my past and I feel that they might happen again because um, when we practice forgiveness, we practice great courage because like literally great courage is required um, to forgive because it feels unsafe. Okay,
Right.
it feels like, oh, if I forgive this person and I let go of this grudge, I can energetically be 100% full because 25% of my energy is still stuck in the past. So I can't be fully present, let's say with my partner. because I'm still holding on to something from the past, it feels really risky. It feels really uncertain to forgive. It feels even uncertain to forgive myself because I was like, oh, what if I do it again, right? Or like, oh my gosh, and like these doubts, and it just doesn't allow us to be fully energetically present. And forgiveness is one of those moments in which the sensation of holding to the grudge or holding to the insecurity emulates security, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Holding on to the grudge actually makes us feel secure, like, oh, I don't forgive you, so I'm feeling more secure and strong in my power, when in fact you're actually not energetically fully present because you're still 50% energetically being invested in the past. So it's not a feeling of security at all. It's actually a very dangerous place to live when we're holding on to these grudges and not forgiving ourselves for eating junk foods, or forgiving ourselves for drinking and having a life made of very poor choices. So safety and risk are different polarities. And in order to find balance, we have to experience the two things. We have to experience the safety, and we actually have to experience the risk. But if we don't experience both sides, we're never really going to find out who we truly are, which is in the middle, is that balanced person that is walking through the path. Because they both exist at the same time. The experience could be great or it could be totally bad, but they're both happening at the same time. It's your perspective of what you choose to align yourself with. And that choice allows your energy to be depleted or charged. Okay, like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I make the great choice. I was talking to my mom yesterday, and I told mom, how does it sound when I just talk with affirmations? It sounds a lot more like uplifting, right? And she's like, yeah, it feels more uplifted. You know, when your parents sometimes tell you, oh, you can't do, or your friends are like, no, Seema, you're crazy. Don't do that. It's too risky. And then you talk to your mom and you're like, yeah, you should go for it. You should totally go for it. You're going to be doing so good. I mean, you're such a pro at this. And all of a sudden now you're like, yes, I can do it. And like you're super charged, right? And you're super motivated and super ambitious. And like just a decision, allow the doors of your heart to open and download all this life force, download all of this energy that now you're immediately like supercharged. I mean, an atomic bomb, it's made by one cell of energy, one atom. One atom can create an atomic bomb. Imagine our bodies made of atoms. That means that we are atomic bombs. We have all the power to really create anything. It's just that becoming aware and letting go, forgiving yourself, and starting again. Every day is an opportunity to start again, because it would always be now. Because by the time the future comes, it will be right now.
Yep.
So I wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's so true. Sometimes we think like, oh no, I'm this way or whatever, but in reality, every day we have a choice. Every moment you can like definitely change your life. Either, and actually we're all making, every day we're making a decision, whether it's conscious or not, and whether it's for the good of your higher self or not so good. But it's either you make the decision or you will make a decision. So yeah, it is amazing. It is very important for everybody to be aware of all these factors that can tell us how great our energy could be or not by the little things that we do every day. And on that point, I would like for you to tell us a little bit more about those amazing supplements that you take.
Oh my gosh, they are literally a dream come true, because I used to be that girl that was going to the farmers market every single Sunday and filling my basket with celery juice. I used to be that 16 ounces celery juice, 32 ounces a day, and buying all of these organic produce for my cooking classes.
Right.
And a lot of it would go to waste every single week. And I wanted to nourish my body with more vegetables, with more vitamins, chlorophyll and wheatgrass and chlorella and spirulina and alfalfa and wheat and like all these. I mean, there's so many different ingredients that I wanted, but it was so inconvenient. I mean, I was a business entrepreneur, going to the farmer's market, going to outsource all these ingredients, food going to waste, and only being able to help my neighborhood people, my community around me. And when I came across my current company, we offer organic superfood nutrition that is pure, that comes from the earth. Our lands are located next to a non-active volcano. It used to be a dry
Oh,
lake bed, so all the minerals from the water are in the soils, which grow in the superfoods. We actually also work with farmers around the world that meet our standards. We work with microbiologists in-house to test the purity of our superfoods. We test everything 37 times from seed to package to make sure that there's absolutely nothing. We even test the pollution in the air, okay? Even though we're far away from other farms, now we found that there's an organic farm next to a non-organic farm, and they're spraying their crops, and that glyphosate, it's going through the air and landing in the certified organic.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm not sure if you know, but most of garbanzo beans, most of the chickpeas, even if they say organic, they have glyphosate. There's a bunch,
Wow.
it's crazy. They're even selling them at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's with like this organic cert, and they actually have glyphosate. So with us, we test everything, and everything is dehydrated at room temperature. So we don't use heat to dehydrate anything, because heat kills the enzymes, and
Right.
the enzymes is what actually our body wants. So the dehydration process is very, very special. And that's one of the things that I love the most, because I was like, I like to drink fresh juices. Like, I like to turn on my juicer and chop my vegetables, and then spend an hour washing the juicer and chopping all the vegetables. It's inconvenient, right? Well, these superfoods, because they're dehydrated at room temperature, once you put the water on them, it activates the juice. And the juice goes through the same process as a fresh pressed juice, right? You want to drink it fast. You don't want to pack it in a bottle and then put it on the shelf, because it oxidizes, right? And
Right.
the juice starts to die, the enzymes start to die. So I absolutely love these superfoods. We deliver to anyone's door in Europe. We're all around Europe, we're in Canada, we're in the United States, and we're slowly expanding to bring this incredible nutrition to families that really need it, because a lot of us we're eating, but we're not nourishing ourselves. We are malnourished. And the superfoods make it so easy for my friends in the middle of Oklahoma to have this nutrition, and to have the vitamins and the minerals and the antioxidants and the proteins and the gut health that we need every single day to thrive, which we will be getting from food if our food was organic and if our food had that nutrition. So these superfoods are amazing. I know you're going to put a gift code on the comments and the captions below, so you can try for $50 off. You can try any superfoods from our website. Just enter the gift code that Alex is going to put in the comments, and enjoy, because everybody needs to know about this. And the bringing this life force to ourselves, bringing, being nourished to a cellular level, it allows our body to not be so hungry. Our body is hungry when it's malnourished, when it's needing vitamins, minerals, and all these things. But once you are nourished to a cellular level, you're not hungry. Like, I eat one meal a day, and I'm okay. Like, I don't have the urge to be snacking all freaking day long like I used to in the past, right? Eating cookies and always drinking coffee and a croissant, like always snacking for something. Ever since I got into this journey of really going back to the roots of the problem through holistic approaches, I've noticed that people that are hungry are malnourished. Because if you are nourished to a cellular level, you live an abundant life, because when you have that gut health, you can start making better decisions for yourself, which leads to better relationships, better business opportunities, better everything. So it really starts with our gut. It's where our immunity starts as well.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree on that. And you mentioned a great point. Sometimes it's not only that it's inconvenience to buy all these fruits and vegetables and make some sort of a juice or smoothie, whatever it is that you're doing, but um, it's not realistic that we're gonna buy all these superfoods and make as juice or a meal or whatever. So actually, supplements are one of the greatest ways that modern technology give us the opportunity to keep nourishing ourselves, but taking supplements. And in this case, they're organic, as you heard. I like that, they're being checked over and over and over, because yes, it's not just growing the fruits and vegetables, but it's actually what happens to them, to the transitions on when the product is growing and when it's packaged and when it's make into a powder. So it's a lot of processes that they go through, and I'm so glad your company does this. Not a lot of companies do that, so thank you. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and it is a good opportunity for everyone out there that wants to look for a good product, something that it's reliable, something that, a company that really cares for the individuals that are going to be purchasing this, that is the highest quality. So yeah, when it comes to supplements, do make sure, if it's not this one and you like to purchase anything else, just do make sure, for anyone that's listening to this, make sure it is good quality, make sure you know where it comes from, because as you know, all supplements travel to our, kidneys and liver and all that. So whatever filler it has, or if it's not really good quality, your body will also, more than doing a good thing for your body, it's gonna, at the long run, it's gonna damage. So it is very important to find something with a really good quality, because sometimes I feel like people are like, well, it's just supplement, it's something that I'm just gonna take, but it is not just something. It's actually something that's gonna be either absorbed in the really good way, or it's gonna mess up your body. So you don't want that. At that point, you're better off not taking a supplement if it's not good quality. So I think, so just make sure anyone that wants to buy supplements, that's something that you keep in mind.
Yeah, and Alex, I will say that these are supplements for some people that are not actually getting their nutrition from foods.
Yeah.
But if you're eating whole food nutrition, these are actually whole foods.
Yeah.
Right. So for people that are eating Cheetos and pizza and drinking Coca-Cola, these will be supplements. It's supplementing their low vibration current diet, but it's actually considered a whole living food. So we work with whole living foods. And I don't see them as supplements. I see them as whole living foods, because I live a whole living diet, right? I live a holistic lifestyle. But for a lot of people that are not introduced to nutrients and vitamins and minerals and high alkaline foods, this will be considered supplements. Exactly.
That is right. Changing the how we call things also, it's quite important. But yeah, you're right. It is a supplement when you're actually definitely having not a great way of living or eating or whatever you want to call it. And yes, it definitely will help you. Yeah. So do check them out. This has been great. Thank you for all the information. Hopefully, everybody that is listening today gets the message of like, hey, eat better food. You only get one body, unfortunately. So take care of it. And you can find a lot of different ways to do it, whether it's through your food, your water, your exercise. Go outside, and you don't have to run a marathon. Just walk barefoot on the grass at the beach. Even hugging your loved ones will make you feel better. So definitely disconnect for a second from your cell phone, your laptop, whatever, and do something to make your body, recharge with some like really great energy. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us today?
I just want to thank you for the space and for allowing me to share and bring this knowledge to awareness to a lot of people that might hear these things for the first time. Because it takes a big person like you to create a space so we can all activate our voice and share and see each other in our reflection, because what you like about me is what you like about you, and what you don't like about me is what you don't like about you, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
we all teachers of each other. In every experience, everything that we do is to learn a lesson, and if we don't learn the lesson, the universe is going to send you another lesson, and every time it's going to be more and more intense until we actually learn what we're supposed to learn to ascend to a better version of ourselves. So thank you, Alex. It was an honor and a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to talking to you a lot more.
Yes, definitely.
Intros.
And if anyone wants to reach out to you for more information, where can they find you?
They can find me on my Instagram. It's Sunlight Nutrition. I also have another Instagram, which is my personal one, which is Architect Goddess. Although I'm changing the username because that version of me, that avatar, already grew up in Transcended. So soon to come, but you still can find me in an Architect Goddess in Sunlight Nutrition. Regardless, that account will still be active. And on my Facebook is facebook.com/HJL Seema from Holistic Justice League Seema. So those are how you can find me. You can also email me if you have any questions at admin@sunlightnutrition.com.
Awesome. And I will be putting all that information in our show notes. And if you need to find any more information about my podcast, you can always find me at alexvalgood.com, at alexvalgood on Facebook, Instagram, and that's it. Thank you for everything today, and have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.